What we're talking about today is a time period from 1999, or actually a little before that, and until 2011. Unfortunately, that's when my story ends so far. There were some predecessors for the MARC course. The ICROM architectural conservation courses that were held in Rome from 1965 to 1998. They were, of course, the model for this new course, and also the architecture conservation courses had changed into being just courses of a few weeks, not like 6 months it used to be in the beginning. And in 1995 there was a ICOMOS seminar on 20th century heritage in Helsinki, and during this meeting or seminar, this idea of having an international course and on conservation of modern architecture and doing things within learning components was brought up by the DG of ICROM a little bit later. Of course, the work of Docomomo International in a way led to the MARC courses. And I would also like to say the Finnish experience in the field of modern architecture conservation and training. We have a very practical way of approaching training, and this is postgraduate training. Some of the important people, I can't mention all the 200 here, but I've listed a few. Mark Lennon was the Director General in ICROM when he made this initiative to ask the Finns to take over the course. Maire Marttinen, who then was in the National Board of Antiquities, took over the ball in a way. Joseph King has been working with all the MARC courses, Sites Unit Director in ICROM. Mona Shalin, the architect, was the course coordinator in 3 of the courses. Andrea Urland, previously worked in ICROM, she developed the evaluation method of the courses. And Maija Kairamo, one of the founders of the Finnish Docomomo, was a teacher in the first course and has been an influential person behind the initiative. A brief course history. The first course was held in Helsinki in 1999. We called it the pilot course. And as it came up, all 5 courses were pilot courses because nothing stable came out of this project. Anyway, we had an office building designed by Alvar Aalto from 1955 as the first case study site. In 2002, we had a campus theme, again Alvar Aalto from 50s and 60s, the Jyväskylä University Campus. And in 2006, we stretched out and didn't want to talk about iconic buildings anymore. We wanted to have a new theme and approach everyday architecture, the suburban developments of the 60s and 70s. And we had examples from Sweden, Estonia, and Finland, a couple of cities there. After that, the course, in a way, was taken to the Latin America. And 2009, the course ended after being a distance learning module at first, ended up in Recife, where actually a very similar type of course based on the Finnish model was held. And the last MARC course in 2011, we had the Olympic Stadium in Helsinki and the Seinäjoki Civic Center as the case study sites. Here are some of the organizations involved in organizing the courses. Some of these are just sponsors. Some of them only gave us spaces to work in, and some of them were actually in charge of the academic level of these courses and took part in planning. And of course, ICROM was in the center of it, and the Aalto University, that used to be the Helsinki University of Technology, had a major role. The National Board of Antiquities, even though we were told when I was working there that the National Board doesn't organize training. It's not their responsibility. And this has been one problem with the MARC courses. We don't have any responsible people behind it. We don't have any responsible institutions who think that training courses of modern architecture conservation is somehow their responsibility or task. And there are schools, there are cities, there are international organizations, universities and ministries behind these courses. So it looks like really a huge amount of organizations, but some of them have had only a very limited role. And of course we cannot forget the European Union, which was a major sponsor in 3 of the 4 courses held in Finland. Okay, here is the list of the topics that we covered in the courses. We had the principles and practice of conservation of modern architecture in '99 and continued with more or less the same way in 2002. And had just a shift in the scope or when it comes to the time period. And like I said, the suburban developments in 2006, and in Brazil, also the university campus was a topic there, and a particular building in the University of Pernambuco area. And in 2011, we had adaptive reuse as the main theme, and we called it metamorphosis at the time. Some of the aims and objectives of the courses. We wanted to produce good courses for mid-career experts. And another objective was to increase the expertise in modern architecture issues or restoration experts from all over the world, actually all continents. We got participants from all continents in the world. And I guess the main thrust would have been to widen the scope of architectural conservation, for instance, the post-Second World War period, which wasn't evident when we started in 1999. Here's a list of types of learning activities, and some of them were a mixture of these, and all these were used. So we had some traditional lecturing, we had participant presentations, fieldwork at sites, case studies, excursions, fieldwork exercise during excursions, discussions. We never seemed to have enough of those. Cooperation with a research group, this was in 2006, and workshops with invited specialists. The types of participants that were selected to these courses, they, like I said already before, mid-career experts, architects, art historians, engineers, we had all of those, public and private sector people, decision makers. We wanted to have more, we only had a few, and we wanted people to be able to train each other in these courses and achieve that. And also we wanted to reduce the number of Finns. We wanted this to be truly an international course. The development of the course over time, the first course was more professor-student oriented, and the second one was teamwork oriented, and the third one was even teamwork student oriented. So we weren't necessarily, we didn't know in forehand what the result of the course would be, and so it remained for the course to decide on the outputs. And in the Brazilian course, which was a regional course for the whole of Latin America area, the distance learning modules were a new thing at the time. And in the 2011 course, we wanted to combine the experiences from all the previous courses. And also, we didn't want to, in a way, we didn't want to make a copy of a previous one, but we wanted to make a curriculum for future MARC courses. And this was one goal for the 2011 course. Here are the main themes that we covered. You will have this presentation, so I won't go through this list, but as you can see, many important themes were covered. And of course I have faces. Here's the 99 course in Rautatalo, Helsinki. And this is a 2002 course in Jyväskylä. There was a landscape group, there was a principles group, and then there was a case study group concentrating on a single building in this campus area. Evaluations took place during and after every course. You're probably familiar with them. And the evaluations of all our courses were very good. We got very good feedback from the participants during and after the courses. Here are some of the issues that were inquired from the participants during the courses after every week. And the 2006 course I want to come back to. This was an experimental one because we were able to get the European Heritage Laboratory funding, which was 300,000 euros, if we were able to combine a research project with the course. Because a course isn't a laboratory by itself. And we were able to get the Tampere University of Technology to come up with a research project. And one of the results of this combination was a guideline on conservation of concrete facades. And I sent a copy to Kyle. Probably you can distribute some copies if you're interested here during this colloquium. This is a 2006 course. Here are the organizers of the Brazilian course in Recife. Here are the people that took part in the last part of the course in Recife. This is an example of the flyer that we used to distribute before every course to advertise it in different seminars and other. places, and we're able to get people interested in the courses. And I think this worked very well also. And to tell something about the course before it starts. And here you see a single building on the bottom of the picture, the Helsinki Olympic Stadium, how a single building has changed so tremendously during its history. So it was an interesting case study for our participants to come up with ideas on what to conserve, what to preserve, if everything has changed so much. A Memorandum of Understanding was our method of doing cooperation with the different organizers. And here are the costs. Like you see, the cost per participant varied from 2,500 euros to 7,000 euros per participant. And this has something to do with the way the courses were funded and organized. And the cheapest course was the Brazilian course, and the most expensive one was the one we had in Jyväskylä. Here are some results from the courses. We had a continuation of the ICROM ARC courses before the conservation of built courses. So we, in a way, filled the gap between these two ICROM activities. Rautatalo became restored. New, very good discussion in Jyväskylä. I guess deeper international discussion on restoration principles of modern architecture. Each MARC course benefited from the previous one, and we were able to take the course idea over the Atlantic. 87 participants were taught in these courses, and more than 100 teachers, specialists in the field of modern architecture conservation were involved. And the future. Like I said, this was the end, and 2011 course was the last one we were able to organize. We should have had the next one this year, but we had to inform ICROM that the Finnish government will not be the main organizer, and at the moment we're looking for a main organizer. The Finnish party can still take part in somehow, but we cannot take the full responsibility. And we're trying to come up with learning tools for future events. ICROM has some money for this. And we're hoping to get an international specialist meeting. Okay, we have it now. And we're probably going to publish a survey of MARC. And this work has already started. Markus Lähteenmäki, who is working from London, is making a survey and a report on the MARC courses. And that's going to be published before the end of this year. As a conclusion, I would like to say that the most important things I think we have learned from these courses is the way we approach teaching a difficult topic like this. And I guess also what we've heard already today about building physics and the different ways of approaching the buildings has become more evident. And the key issues in conserving modern architecture, I think, with the experience of the MARC courses is, number one, the program of spaces, the original and a new one. Secondly, the mechanical systems, original again and the new ones. A concept for conservation is very important. And fourthly, the materials, how they are conserved. Thank you very much.